You made it. You have stepped into the first quiet moments of your breakthrough, the part where the light shifts before the world notices. This is not another round of waiting. This is not training. This is the beginning of the life you prayed for. You are already inside your season of victory, living in it even if the edges still feel unfamiliar. For years you wondered if you were forgotten, delayed, or pushed aside, but heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was arranging you. What felt like stillness was God aligning every piece with precision. The way Psalm 37:23 says, He orders the steps of those who trust Him. Now the pause has ended. The gate has opened. Something in the atmosphere around you has already turned in your favor, even if your eyes have not caught up yet. And if your heart has been whispering for confirmation, longing for a sign strong enough to silence your doubts, tomorrow holds that answer. On December 3rd, the signal begins. The signs will rise one by one, and your spirit will recognize them. So pay close attention. Spiritual moments rarely speak in noise. When the signs start appearing, do not be surprised if no one else understands them. Your rise will not look reasonable. It will not look deserved in the way people measure effort. God often lifts His chosen in ways that confuse the crowd. The same way He parted the Red Sea or raised David from shepherd to king. People will call it luck. They will say it came from nowhere. They will search for your formula and find only grace. Chosen ones do not follow timelines. They interrupt them. You did not break the rules. The rules simply could not hold the weight of your calling. Now doors will open that make no sense to anyone who worships hardship. These moments are your reward for staying faithful in silence and trusting the shaping you could not see. It may not look fair or logical, but that is exactly how divine beginnings look. What comes next for you is not merely personal growth. It carries a prophetic weight, the kind that shifts the atmosphere around your life. This is not a simple glow-up. This is an elevation that lifts you beyond where eyes can follow. You are not stepping into a season of small wins. You are entering an altitude shift so complete that it changes how your spirit moves through the world. At higher ground, you do not just receive more. You become harder to reach emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. It is not pride. It is the natural distance created when your soul no longer echoes with what once held you. You will begin to notice the quiet separation, not because you have done anything wrong, but because your inner frequency has changed. Conversations that once comforted you now feel thin. Words fall flat. Rooms feel crowded, yet your spirit stands somewhere beyond them. This is not isolation, it is elevation. Scripture says in Isaiah 40:31 that those who hope in the Lord will soar on wings like eagles. Eagles rise so high that the noise beneath them cannot follow. You are stepping into that height. You are not better than anyone. You are simply no longer tuned to the same channel. And because of that shift, some people will find they can no longer interpret you. Your spirit has climbed to a place their language cannot reach. This is how you are being protected in this chapter, not by being hidden, but by becoming inaccessible to anything that would drain or distract you. You are not rising to be admired. You are rising to operate above interference, to move in a clarity that allows you to flow without exhaustion. And as you ascend, something unusual will happen. People will begin reacting to your presence with instinct rather than understanding, sensing a depth they cannot define. They will feel the change long before they can name it. But that is only the beginning. Soon you will notice another shift. The world around you will start voicing ideas, truths, and revelations that you recognized years ago. It might first feel like déjà vu, as if everyone is arriving late to a conversation your spirit finished long before. But this is not an oversight. It is confirmation. You were not mistaken. You were not imagining things. You were early. Ecclesiastes reminds us that there is a time for every purpose, and you were given sight ahead of schedule. This is the essence of your winning season. To finally see the world catch up to the version of you that once felt out of place, misunderstood, and unseen. Now you understand why the journey felt lonely. You were walking ahead of your time. Be careful with the visions you release into the world before their wings have strengthened. When you speak too soon, you give others a chance to shape, question, or pull at what God is still forming within you. This season calls for a deeper silence, not born from fear, but from wisdom. Some things are too sacred for early exposure. Some victories are meant to bloom quietly. Some blueprints must stay sealed until the foundation is complete. When you begin stepping into your winning season, the urge to tell someone can feel overwhelming. You want to prove you weren't misguided, that the long nights and hidden work were building towards something real. You want the people who doubted you to finally understand. Yet this is the very moment you must guard your voice. Scripture says in Proverbs 4:23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Your vision lives in that guarded space, and the wrong ears can cloud what heaven is trying to clarify. The danger isn't only critics. Sometimes the delay comes from people who love you, but cannot see from your altitude. They speak from their own limits, their own fears, their own pace. Their advice sounds gentle, even caring, yet it nudges your spirit away from the path God carved for you. Are you sure? Maybe slow down. That seems risky. They are not trying to pull you back. They simply cannot stretch far enough to see where you are going. Jesus himself often withdrew to solitary places to pray, choosing silence over explanation, not because he lacked support, but because purpose matures best away from noise. Privacy becomes a shield in times like this. Not secrecy for the sake of isolation, but preservation for the sake of destiny. Your journey is coded, designed with details that will not make sense to anyone who is not carrying the same spiritual assignment. Trying to translate your calling would only drain you and open the door to interference, disguised as concern. Silence, in this moment, is sovereignty. You are not hiding. You are honoring what is being birthed through you. The world does not need previews. It needs to witness the final unveiling. And when your breakthrough arrives, it will speak with a force that requires no introduction. Your results will become your voice, and your victory will tell the story for you. When your inner light becomes clearer, it does something to the world around you. The brighter you shine, the sharper the reflections become in the people who encounter you. There is a shift that unfolds when you enter this stage of your journey. Your spirit sharpens. Your focus becomes unshakable. Your frequency rises to a place where it cannot be confused with anything you once were. You stop blending into your environment. You begin to disturb the spaces that once felt familiar, not because you have changed your kindness or your compassion, but because your presence has become a mirror, and mirrors tell the truth even when people would rather look away. You will see it in their reactions. People who once celebrated you will start to grow uneasy. Conversations that used to feel light now carry an edge. You may hear comments like, "You're different," or "You've become distant," or "You think you're above us." But beneath those words lies something deeper. Your clarity exposes what they have avoided. Your discipline highlights their distractions. Your peace unsettles their unrest. Your growth reminds them of the places within themselves they have refused to visit. And the most startling part is that you won't be doing anything intentional. You could enter a room silently and still feel the energy shift because your spirit speaks louder than your voice. Do not shrink when this happens. Do not dim yourself for the sake of someone else's comfort. You are not responsible for how your light makes another person feel about their shadows. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world." Light reveals, light clarifies, light changes whatever it touches. Your task is not to hide what God has illuminated in you. The people meant for your journey will adjust their eyes. The ones who walk away are not being pushed out. They are simply unable to withstand a brightness they never prepared for. Let them go. If your presence triggers someone, it means it is waking something up. You once doubted this moment would ever come. You looked around and saw others moving ahead while you stood still, unsure of the next step. It felt as if life overlooked you. Opportunities felt out of reach. Doors closed before you could even lift your hand to knock. You wondered if something inside you was broken, if your timing was flawed, if the vision in your spirit was nothing more than wishful thinking. But now, as your energy rises, you're starting to see the truth behind the detours. What felt like delay was divine direction. What felt like stagnation was spiritual preparation. God was not withholding your moment. He was strengthening you for the weight of it. Psalm 27:14 says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart." Waiting was never wasted time. It was time being stored. Every quiet season, every unanswered prayer, every closed door became spiritual credit. And now it is returning with interest. The acceleration you feel is not coincidence. It is restoration. It is alignment. It is the return of everything you thought had slipped away. Those who believed you were stuck will soon realize you were not behind. You were being positioned for something they cannot yet see. For too long, you've been the one cheering for everyone else. The steady presence, the helper, the one who shows up even when no one notices. You supported their rise with sincerity because that is who you are. But deep down, there was always a stirring, a quiet knowing that said, "This is not my final place." That whisper has grown louder. Now, it is becoming a roar. This is no longer your season of witnessing. This is your season of becoming. The lights turn toward you not because you demanded attention, but because your spirit can no longer be ignored. People will notice you without understanding why. Your presence will shift rooms. Your steps will create ripple effects. Those who once overlooked you will find themselves drawn to the very glow they never recognized. It may feel strange at first. You've spent years in the background, conditioned to be the quiet strength, the unseen foundation. But the truth is, you were never meant for the sidelines. You were never designed to fade into someone else's story. You are the answer to a prayer someone whispered in the dark. You are the plot twist God prepared long before you doubted your own worth. Your rise is not just for you. It is permission for others to rise as well. When they see you embrace your brilliance, they will finally allow themselves to embrace theirs. So, no, you are not doing too much. You are finally doing what you were created to do. This is not ego. It is embodiment. You are not taking the spotlight. You are revealing that you were the light all along. You have clapped long enough. Now it is time to step forward. And when you do, the world will not simply watch. It will remember. There comes a moment in a soul's journey when the word growth is too small, too gentle, too ordinary to describe what has taken place. What you are living right now is not growth. It is spiritual mutation. If your younger self were to walk into the room today, they would not recognize you, not because your voice has changed or your posture has strengthened, but because the very essence of who you are has been rewritten. Something in you shifted at a level deeper than memory, deeper than personality, deeper than experience. It changed at the level of spirit, at the level of identity, at the level of your inner architecture. You didn't simply evolve. You transformed. You shed entire layers of belief, fear, conditioning, and limitation that once convinced you they were permanent. What has taken place inside you is the kind of metamorphosis that no timeline or milestone can explain. You didn't just grow older. You changed your spiritual DNA. And that kind of change is never painless. Every heartbreak, every silent night, every disappointment you swallowed without anyone noticing carved new foundations into your being. Each unanswered question, each season of confusion, each moment you wondered whether you were falling apart or falling into place, became a chisel in the hands of grace. Like the prophet Jeremiah wrote, "He is the potter, and we are the clay, shaped and reshaped through pressure, fire, and surrender." So now, you think differently. You move differently. Your desires have lifted into new territory. The things you once begged for no longer tempt you. The people who once had power over your emotions no longer reach you. The triggers that once pulled you down now hit an upgraded version of you that no longer exists at that address. Those who try to interact with your past self feel the disconnection because that version of you has dissolved. You didn't simply change. You outgrew a mold that was never meant to hold you. And yes, part of this evolution carries grief. Not grief for who you are now, but reverence for the version of you that had to be released. That younger self who settled, who doubted, who whispered instead of speaking, who shrank instead of rising, served a purpose. They carried you through storms they were never built to understand. They walked so you could run, but they cannot go where you are going now. This season is not about noticing the transformation. It is about embodying it. You were not meant to stay recognizable. You were meant to become untraceable to anyone who only knew you from your wounds. Let yourself honor your becoming, but do not cling to identities you have already transcended. You have outgrown who you once were because you were destined to become someone your past self never imagined. That is not betrayal. That is fulfillment. It is evidence that the promise spoken over your life is unfolding in real time. And if it feels lonely up here, understand this. You are no longer walking with the version of yourself that needed validation. You are walking as the version that finally knows. You have become the person you once prayed someone else would be for you. You have become the protector, the healer, the guide, the voice of clarity that once existed only in your longing. There is always a trembling moment right before your spirit rises, a confrontation before the elevation. Not a superstition, not a warning born from fear, but a spiritual rhythm that repeats across generations. Those who are chosen for greater assignments almost always encounter an unexpected hit just before stepping into their next level. Something sharp, something sudden, something that feels like the ground beneath you has shifted. This does not happen because heaven is disciplining you. It happens because you are being cleared. As Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you," meaning the intensity is not a sign of abandonment, but of transition. At first, this confrontation feels like an attack. Just when your steps begin to steady, something tries to shake them. It may arrive in the form of betrayal from someone you trusted, the sting of an unexpected loss, a deep wave of doubt that seems to swallow your clarity, or old wounds rising without warning, as if they were waiting for the perfect moment to reappear. You might even feel like you are backtracking, slipping into an older version of yourself. But you're not. What you are meeting is the final threshold, the last gate. These challenges are not meant to break you. They are meant to expose what cannot travel with you into the higher place you're entering. Think of it as a spiritual examination. Heaven already knows you're ready. The confrontation forces you to witness your own growth. Because when those familiar triggers show up, when fear is tested, when someone presses the old bruise expecting the same reaction, something extraordinary unfolds. You respond differently. Where pain once dictated your choices, now you stand in power. Where you used to shrink to survive, you now expand to lead. Where you used to chase peace, you now embody it. Psalm 125:1 describes this shift beautifully. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken but endures forever. In that instant, the confrontation transforms into confirmation. Proof that the person you used to be is gone. Proof that you have already risen. This is why you cannot panic when the chaos hits. That moment when everything feels like it is spiraling, when the pressure intensifies out of nowhere, When the enemy seems to target you more aggressively than before, that is not a sign of collapse. It is the cue that you have leveled up. Pressure is the announcement, and your only task now is to stay steady. Do not internalize the drama. Do not make the attack personal. It was never about them anyway. This is about you holding your spiritual frequency firm in the face of temptations that used to dismantle you. Graduation never begins with a celebration. It begins with resistance, because the forces that once fed off your confusion cannot survive your clarity. You have outgrown the roles you once played in other people's stories. You have outgrown scripts written for smaller versions of you. So when it feels like the final boss has stepped into your path, don't run. Lift your head. You're not being tested because you are weak. You're being tested because you are next. The stage is already built. The light is already shining. The doors are already open. All that remains is your entrance. And understand this: you were never designed to fit the story you were born into. You were meant to end the cycle. The soil that raised you was not prepared to grow someone like you. The patterns handed down to you, family expectations, cultural traditions, limitations disguised as loyalty, were designed to repeat themselves. They were not designed to release someone capable of rewriting the entire narrative. Yet, you arrived as the disruption, the fracture in the generational pattern. You were the one who questioned what others accepted, the one who refused to shrink into the shape assigned to you, the one whose spirit could not conform, even when it would have been easier to stay quiet. You did not reject the pattern because you were rebellious. You rejected it because something in your spirit would not allow you to betray your calling. For that, you were misunderstood, labeled sensitive, difficult, dramatic. People mistook your intuition for stubbornness. But heaven saw the truth. You were different by design. Jeremiah 1-5 speaks directly to souls like yours. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. You were born into chaos, so you would learn to hear your own voice. You grew up in systems that didn't affirm you, so you would stop waiting for permission. Every closed door taught you to build your own. Every lonely season taught you to trust the whisper within. You weren't raised to be ready. You were raised to remember. This season is not simply about the blessings arriving. Blessings are only a fraction of the story. This season is about finally seeing the miracle of everything you survived, without guidance, without applause, without a roadmap. You stitched your identity together from faith, instinct, and fragments. You built resilience from dust. You created a path where none existed. And somehow, you became the blueprint others are now studying. You didn't only break the mold. You became the proof that the mold was never real. And now, the people who once dismissed you are watching more closely than they ever have. Not because you owe them anything, but because your transformation speaks in a language they can no longer ignore. While they were busy trying to interpret you, you were busy breaking generational contracts they didn't even know they were carrying. You ended timelines. You stopped patterns mid-cycle. You disrupted spiritual agreements silently passed down through decades. You did not just survive your origin, you rewrote it. And you did it without shouting, without being validated, without being applauded. But it happened. And now the clarity is here. You were never meant to inherit the story. You were meant to rewrite it. That is why you never felt at home. That is why you couldn't settle. That is why you always sensed there was something more. It was never arrogance. It was alignment. This is the season where you stop apologizing for being the one who didn't fit. You finally see that being the outlier was the assignment. You were not born to blend in. You were born to end what never should have continued. So understand this clearly. Your winning season is not simply about what is coming to you. It is about what is finally coming through you. Power, clarity, identity, authority, the deep realization that you weren't just built different, you were built to be the difference. And now, the time for rising is not approaching, it is already here. And if this message resonated with the deepest part of you, if it felt like confirmation of the season you are walking into, then let your action reflect your alignment. Like this video and subscribe, not out of routine, but because every new message is crafted to strengthen the path you are already stepping into. These words are meant to meet you exactly where your spirit is rising. And if your heart is ready to receive what is coming next, write Amen in the comments as a declaration that you are open, aligned, and prepared for the elevation already unfolding in your life. Sometimes the simplest agreement carries the greatest power. May your steps stay steady, your spirit stay clear, and your light stay unshaken. The journey ahead is sacred, and you are finally becoming everything you were meant to be.